One of my last rides in Mexico was in the state of San Luis Potosi, which I had heard of before as one of the most scenic regions in Mexico. And one of the places been on my list in that area was Xilitla, very pretty little town in the jungle. That's where I was heading to that day. So I'm in Xilitla, that's a little town in the state of San Luis Potosi. It's right in the jungle and the climate here is humid and hot, but today I'm very lucky that it's not hot, there's not much sun, so I can walk around. And this place is very famous for the castle and the kind of botanic garden of one famous person. So I'm on the way to see it, take some photos and videos. And they say that it's very interesting. This guy was a really extravagant guy, and he built this place here in the mountains. We'll see. This guy's name was Sir Edward James. He was the British writer and one of the most eccentric and interesting 20th century collectors of surrealist art. Salvador Dali was one of his friends, and he described him as crazier than all the surrealists together. Edward James arrived in Xilitla at the end of the 1940s, and he was fascinated by the landscape of the area around. So he decided to stay, and that's where he created a fantastic home, which includes a unique sculptural space, garden in the jungle, called Las Pozas. Las Pozas is a collection of concrete architectural structures and fantastic routes that make up a sculpture garden. A river with waterfalls runs through the garden, and it is surrounded by jungle. Its design was made by Edward James and Plutarco Gastelum, his friend whom he met in Mexico, in Xilitla. As the story goes, when they were exploring the area around, a cloud of butterflies surrounded James and Gastelum while they were swimming in the river. The British writer interpreted this event as a magical sign. So between 1947 and 1949, he began the construction of his version of the Garden of Eden. During the first few decades, James focused his attention on gardening. However, in 1962, a storm destroyed his collection of orchids. Then he decided to build a perpetual garden and began to build concrete structures that resembled floral elements. This place is really amazing. I like it. I like its atmosphere. Yeah, it's extravagant. It's kind of reflects maybe the nature of the owner, of the person who built it, Sir Edward James. But really, that reminds me that's a famous castle in Germany as well. Kind of similar idea and similar type of people. Extravagant dreamers.
Over the years, the sculptures gradually merged into a kind of random city, with harmony created by its structures and dialogue with its natural surroundings. Along its labyrinth trails are hands and heads made of concrete, stone snakes, stone flowers, and walking through the sculpture garden is like exploring an undiscovered city. Upon entering, the architectural sculptures appear at different levels and views. It's the place where you can go to see and be seen, but also to hide and look for solitude.
I can say that I'm really impressed with this place, and the more I'm staying here, the more I like it, really. I think that if I had enough kind of resources, maybe I would do something like that. Building a place in the jungle somewhere far away from the public, just for myself and for my close friends. Yeah, that would be really great.
The sculpture garden has been a source of creation and work for many locals. The entire construction of Las Pozas took about 150 people, including carpenters, bricklayers, and gardeners. After Edward James died, the doors of Las Pozas were opened to tourists in 1991.
So that was the famous place made by Sir Edward James. Very interesting and extravagant personality. Also he has another house, Edward James, where he used to live in Xilitla. It's still there. Now it's the hotel. I think there is also a museum. And just in general, I like the atmosphere of this place, of the town Xilitla and the surrounding. Yeah, I like jungle. I'm really happy that I stayed another day here, though it wasn't my initial plan.
I spent almost the whole day there at Las Pozas, and I would have stayed even longer if it was not for the humidity draining my energy. But even now, several months later, my thoughts keep returning to that place, and I feel a strange kind of connection with its author. He was also a dreamer.